Today at Tree Stuff, we're going to reassemble a recoil system very similar to any recoil system that is found on a Briggs & Stratton, a Honda, Kawasaki. You can find them on Husqvarna chainsaws or weed trimmers, steel chainsaws, weed trimmers, all kinds of equipment. Most recoil systems are very similar in construction. We have the rope elastostart assembly. We have the recoil housing. The spring is still attached. The recoil pulley. This is the time that we want to inspect the pulley for any wear that might be caused in the internal diameter, the post area, any wear in the area that the spring attaches to, and any wear that might have occurred by one of the pawls or dogs. And then inspect how the dog fits into the pulley. Make sure it's contained, doesn't fall out, doesn't bend out. Then we have the retainer washer that goes on top of the pulley, and then the retainer clip. Now this is the part where anyone who has repaired a recoil has had this experience. Safety glasses need to be worn. And we've all experienced the recoil spring that went flying across the room. Recoil springs normally come in a cassette so that you can install the spring in its cavity with just a small amount of pressure pushing it down and no tools needed. At Tree Stuff, we have all these components, and you will see a drawing that will show all these things under our recoil system in a particular model of chainsaw. We've all asked the question after the spring flew out on the floor, how do I put it back in? You can notice that in the housing area, there is a cutout for the end of the spring. If it does not have a cutout, here's a good rule of thumb. This is the recoil rope, and as you pull the recoil rope, it comes out this direction. So the center of the coil should look like that direction of rotation. Start the spring into the cavity. Give yourself plenty of room. Insert the spring around and hold it down because it'll try to come out, as it just did. This procedure requires some patience, but go slow, and it can be done very quickly. As you can see, after it's worked back into place, you're ready to go. The bottom side of the recoil pulley has a notch which fits over the top of the spring. Install the recoil pulley. Light pressure as you rotate it will seat the spring into the recoil pulley. Now you're ready to install the dogs or pawls. Then the retainer washer. And then the retainer clip. You want to have a good hold of this because it will fly off across the room. Now, if this is installed correctly, we're rotating, our rope is pulling out that direction, so we're rotating this, and as we do, the dogs come out, the flywheel has a flange that runs inside this groove. When the dogs come out, they touch the flywheel flange and rotate the flywheel. Then as you release the rope, the dogs retract away from the flywheel flange. If your recoil rope has slack on the end and dangles or gets caught on a limb as you're walking around, it can rotate these dogs into the flywheel and damage can occur. Sometimes breaking the dogs, sometimes removing the clip from the post. So look for those things as you're repairing.